Thomas Yelloweyes, and I train pickleball, and today we are going to cover court coverage part 1 today on Whiteboard Wednesday. So thank you for joining us. Today I want to talk about 3 things. I'm going to talk about the return, I'm going to talk about balls hit wide, and we're going to talk about partner movement. We're not going to get too far into partner movement because that's a whole series on its own. But today I just really wanted to cover the just kind of basic court coverage. Again, if I haven't said it, my name is Thomas Yelloweyes with I Train Pickleball, and I teach a lot of beginners and intermediate players and some high-level players, but my focus mainly is beginners and intermediate players. And so I always teach the basics, like the very basics, because once we get that built, once I catch them early and we get that foundation built, then it's easy to start adding the nuances and start adding the other little things that make pickleball awesome as your skill level grows, right? But we always got to start with the basics. So here's today's what we're covering. So the very first thing I want to cover is the return. So we have this red team here who is the serving team, and we have the blue team here who is the return team. Specifically, this is going to be our server, and this is going to be our returner, right? So the serving team serves the ball 0-0, we'll say 0-0-2, serves the ball here, and this player here hits the ball straight across to this player. Okay, this is where this player hits the ball. What happens a lot of times in a lot of levels is this player, when they work their way to the line, they actually work their way to the middle, and we actually end up having this situation where the middle is crowded or overcovered, and because we hit to this player, one of the things that we have just now done is we have exposed this sideline. Because this player came to the middle, they left this wide open, and we're getting, especially lately, we're getting a lot of tennis players who can hit really great ground strokes and can really place their shots, even those that are just coming into the game. So they're looking for open passing shots, and one of the shots that I'm seeing a lot given up is this one down the line. So we have to understand what our coverage should look like when we're the returner. Okay, so this is important. It's one of the things I talk to them about after they've done a few beginner clinics, after they played for a little bit. Then we come back in one of our group lessons or the next clinic that they're in, we talk about this specific thing. So if I'm the returner, I actually have pretty good control, or what I need to understand is based on where I return the ball is going to be determined on what part of the court I cover. Running just to the center every time doesn't apply as much unless you're hitting it dead center, right? If you're hitting it here, then yes, we're going to play more the center of the court. But a lot of times what happens is we end up returning the ball, and a lot of times we end up returning it to the person who served it to us. But specifically, say we return the ball to this side. So return the ball here. Now this player here needs to slide over and cover the line, right? So now they have the line. Now this player can slide up and cover more the middle, because this is a higher percentage shot for them to hit down the line. That's the easiest shot, hardest one to hit too. One of the hardest ones to hit. The second one is through the middle, because again, this is the longest part of the court, so that's the hardest they can hit the ball and still keep it in. And then the lowest percentage, especially at the beginner and the intermediate level, is this shot over here. This is the lowest percentage shot. So it's the one that we want to, I don't want to say give up, but it's the one that we want to keep open. But also this person just needs to be aware that if that shot is being made over there, you also have the longest, because it's the longest distance shot, you also have the longest time to get over there and cover that ball. Okay, so that's what it looks like if the ball is returned here. All right. And then if the ball is returned here, now this player needs to come up and cover the line. And this player can slide over and cover more the middle. Again, this is the lowest percentage shot right here. So we're kind of leaving that open. And again, for beginners and intermediates, it's a lower shot. That's a lower percentage shot, even lower. And this is the longest shot to make here. So this player should have plenty of time to get over and help cover that shot. Okay. So that is really quick on the return. Now, if you're hitting it in the middle, yes, both of you can play more middle. Force them to hit this shot out here, because that shot, they have to be way more precise. So there's more likely they're going to either float the ball to you or they're going to float the ball out. So depending on the 1, 2, or 3 spots they return the ball, this is going to determine what person covers the line, what person covers the middle, okay? Unless it's number 2, then we're both covering the middle. All right, so that's the return. Let's talk about balls hit wide, right? So now we got players up, even if they're in transition zone, but say this player here hits a ball that hits here and starts bouncing wide, and this player has to slide over to get this ball. Another thing I see is this player stay home, basically stay wherever they were. They stay where they are standing. They freeze, and now we have all of this exposed court that is not being covered. And what we have to do is we have to start learning to work together to cover the court. So this person hits this ball wide. They hit it wide, or force this player to go wide. This player needs to slide over and cover. Okay, so now this person has to cover the line. This person has to cover the middle, right? So we're not going to get too far into that. But essentially that's what happens, or especially if this player hits this hard shot here and this player has to slide out here, this player needs to come over with them and cover, right? And then this player start getting to advanced stuff. This player needs to hit a neutral shot, drop it back in the kitchen, and allow him to get back in here, and this person get back here, right? Okay, so that is the wide shot. Now let's talk about partner movement, right? So here's what I see a lot. We're getting to the dink game, the short game, and this player gets a dink, to here, and then what they do is they put that ball over here, right? But then the next thing they do is they stay home. So they've hit this ball here. This player slid over to get this ball. Maybe this player slid, maybe they haven't, hopefully they have. But they hit this ball, and then this person stays home. This person recognizes it and starts trying to come over, but because this person doesn't move, now we've created a problem, all right? So here's 2 scenarios that happen out of this situation. One is if this player is aware or has been playing a little while, they'll notice that this shot here, right here, okay? They notice that shot. So that's shot number 1. That's a clean winner, right? So if the ball is on your side of the court, you have one spot on the court that you can cover that your partner can't help you with, and that is the sideline. All right, so shot number 1, this player needs to slide over with their shot, and it allows this player to slide over and cover. Scenario 2 that happens out of this is we hit this ball over here, and this player panics a little bit and hits this ball hard back through the middle, and now you have 2 players fighting over the ball. Okay, so this player sticks his paddle out, but this player is clearly in position to hit it, and now they either hit paddles or they both freeze because they see the other one swinging. Whatever it may be, there's total chaos happening. This is number 2. We'll call it chaos because that's what it's going to be. So this is actually to their advantage to hit this ball in there whether they know it or not. So because this player didn't slide over to cover and allowing this player to come over and cover there, we're creating an issue. Okay, so that is huge. It's a huge thing I see a lot of times. And in this player, not understanding, like, we're taught a lot to come and get to the center of our court, and then that's where we stand. Then once the first challenge is always just getting to the line. Once we get to the no volley zone line, then you get there. Then we got to figure out what we need to do, right? And probably this has been my theme for the whole last year, and I think it's just going to carry on to this year. But we have to remember that when we're playing pickleball, a lot of us, most of us, are playing doubles, whether it's co-ed, whether it's gender doubles. But the thing we need to remember is it's a team sport, okay? That means you have another partner, another player that's your partner on the team, and we have to learn to work with that partner. So we have to keep a couple of things in mind when we're especially when we're doing court coverage. We got to, first of all, we got to work as a team. Okay, that's first. Second, the thing I ask my players is, you're on a team, so you need to hit the best shot that's going to help your team. You need to hit the shot that is in the best interest of your team. Okay, so a lot of times I see players, they hit this shot and it was hard and there was no reason to attack, and then their partner gets blown up because of it. And then I ask them, at that point it's obvious, but I ask them, was that in the best interest of your team? And the obvious answer is no. But as easy as that is, I have a lot of players where that finally clicks and their mind is just blown. They're like, you know what, you're right. And I've been doing this so long. I realize that I'm just hitting a shot that, and it's best for me. It's not best for our team. So that can actually help with, if you're watching on Mondays, our Mindset Mondays, that actually can help with a little bit of a mindset shift and start switching you from an individual player to a team player, right? Regardless you're playing right side or left side, you're going to work as a team. Am I hitting the best shot for our team? And number three, am I covering my teammate? Am I working with them to make sure we have all the spots on the court that we need to covered? And that's a huge one too. Again, that's partner movement. It's a whole nother series that we can get into later. But today I just wanted to start in part one in court coverage. We'll probably talk a little more about balls wide, and then part three would probably be more partner movement in itself. But again, I just wanted to cover simple court coverage, starting with the return, then the balls hit wide, and then a little bit of partner movement. When the balls hit to the sideline or hit to the outside of a player, what two partners should be doing, who has what's your responsibility. Okay, so again, this is Thomas Shelwise with Night Train Pickleball. Today is Whiteboard Wednesday, and we will see you next week.